scams could be automatically reimbursed up to $3,000 by their bank. That's the plan being considered by the federal government, which would cover how banks, telcos and digital platforms deal with scammers. Stephanie Tonkin is from the Consumer Action Law Centre and says the toll on scam victims is both financial and psychological.
We at Consumer Action Law Centre hear from dozens and dozens of scam victims every month who've lost not only their life savings, large, small amounts of money, but they've also endured a quite horrific experience, being robbed, being tricked, being groomed and manipulated into transferring money unknowingly to a scammer. And what we find is the personal toll as well as financial toll lasts very, very long thereafter.
So this proposal put forward today by Treasury would require banks, telecommunications companies and digital platforms, importantly, to reimburse victims who've been scammed via their services up to $3,000. What do you make of this proposal?
Look, I think that's a good start. It's a small piece of a very big consultation. I think there are 6 documents in the consult pack and hundreds of pages. This is a small part of where we look at the dispute resolution process. So we're expecting tens of thousands, even 100,000 complaints to wash through or be washing through the dispute resolution process as scam victims seek compensation, and it's going to be quite complicated because we've set up a really ambitious ecosystem approach to scams prevention. But what that means is when a scam makes it through a business's protections, a consumer might have a claim to compensation. So they've got to bring a dispute against their bank, the receiving bank, a telecommunications company or multiple digital platforms. And so that dispute resolution will be quite complicated. And so this $3,000 reimbursement proposal is a good start, but it's really aimed at weeding out those low value claims so that the system has the capacity to deal with those complex, multi-party, high value scams, which will take much longer to sort of unravel and work out who's liable.
Yeah, and so what is being proposed for people who lose much more than $3,000?
So the Scam Prevention Framework that passed in 2025, it's a set of laws. They are at the moment sitting on the shelf until we do this consultation work and work out the nuts and bolts of the codes of practice and rules. And that's what Treasury is now consulting on. There's a lot of good, hard work going on, but it is slow because it is complicated. We'll have high bar obligations that are set out in the codes of practice for our digital platforms, telecommunications companies and banks. And if they fail to meet those obligations, then they should be on the hook to compensate the customer or the scam victim.
What about the digital platforms arguing that it will discourage consumer vigilance and will result in industry subsidising and emboldening criminal scam syndicates? What do you? I can see you're not exactly nodding in agreement with that.
The moral hazard argument is incredibly frustrating because no one I've spoken to ever sets out to be scammed. The shock, the distress, the emotional and life-changing impacts that being scammed has on the people we speak to. I've never seen anyone who's been careless and transferred money. And the change in the laws and what's proposed is absolutely not going to be in the back of people's minds when they're transferring money, thinking, well, it's under $3,000, so I'll get my money back. So, having worked with scam victims for many years and having worked in other spaces as well where the moral hazard argument is raised, look, it doesn't fly.
Yeah. Okay, Stephanie Tonkin, thanks so much for having a chat to us from Melbourne.
Thanks.